All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome my special guest, Nevada running back Caleb Ramseur. Man, how's it going, bro?
It's going great, going great. How you doing?
Oh, doing so well, man. For those people who are not familiar with you, man, tell me about yourself.
I'm a running back out of the University of Nevada. Um, Started my college career at Butte College. Played 2 years there. Then I went to Morehead State for a year. Played only 4 games there. Entered the transfer portal, and I played at Nevada for my last 2 years of college. Um, some more about me is I started off playing football when I was 5 years old, being a mascot actually for my brother's team because the age limit was 6. So I started off doing that, and then I played flag football from then on. And then I got to start playing with the pads and all the way through high school and through college and to now.
Oh, that's good. So there wasn't quite much offers, or were they offers in high school for you?
I had one offer in high school. It was a D3 school called Bethel University. They run the wing T, and I got that offer my senior year. I had one offer to that school, and then I had um, sorry, excuse me. I had junior college opportunities from all over the city, and then Butte College was the only school outside of the city that really, brought me in on a visit and took me in. So I fell in love with Butte College, the campus, and then the rich history about, the program. So that's, what brought me down to Oroville, California.
Well, it got you to be where you're at, so that's what matters. I mean, people don't realize how hard it is to go from JUCO to go to the next level, man. It has to be one of the most humble experiences to go from a different city, right? But then going to a JUCO.
Right. No, that's all facts. It's very hard. A lot of people, even go train with the team and then end up quitting after the first 2 days. There's guys that um, go and play for a couple games and end up, becoming ineligible because of, classes. You got to get yourself to the school. You don't live especially at Butte College, you don't live right next to the campus. You live in Chico. All the players live in Chico. So you got to take a little 20-minute to 30-minute drive to Butte every day to be on time for workouts and practice. So, with Butte, it was a long process, but it was just like the most amazing junior college I had. So I was just so happy with, my experience there.
But at least you got to build your experience. Then you went to Moore College, huh? Moorhead College?
Yeah, Morehead State. So Morehead State is a FCS school from the Pioneer League. That's in Morehead, Kentucky, one of the smallest towns you'll ever see. I'm still in love with that place though. The scenery, the mountains, and it just felt like home being there. Uh, and I really loved the university and the environment during our games as well.
So
Excuse me.
you take nothing away from going over there, but it had to be kind of interesting to go to a small Kentucky town, huh?
Yeah, yeah, it was definitely interesting. It was a different environment for me, but when I went over there, I was just, really focused on making my goals and dreams happen. I was so focused, and I fell in love with that school because they wanted me there. They wanted me to be on that team, and they recruited me my freshman year of JUCO. I decided to go back the second year because I wanted to get a bigger offer, which I really could have if I waited in the spring, but I didn't wait. I was like, man, you know what? I wanted to go to this school because they offered me as a freshman. They believed in me then, and I don't want to wait for teams to come and try to fill me in as a depth position for their roster. So I was not, wanting to wait for that. So I decided to go to Morehead State early in that spring after our season, and that was just the best experience, and I was so happy I did that.
Well, I mean, they were the one that gave you an offer then, and they still were willing to give you an offer. So it's like sometimes take that chance, I guess.
Right, right, most definitely.
Yeah, and then you go into Nevada, which isn't too far from going to home, right? It's just maybe like a couple hours from where you're from.
It's only a 2 hour drive from Elk Grove to Nevada. Um, and it's very quick. I've made that drive a couple times recently. So it's really like home being at Nevada. I got that same type of feeling I had at Morehead State with Nevada. Just, it felt like home for me. So I love that place. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Reno is so nice. Like I've been there. Haven't been there in quite some time, but I love the vibes over there. Like during the winter, it's pretty nice, and then during the season, it's regular, but it's all good, you know.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, it's mostly just it's pretty nice college atmosphere over there. Like from watching how Fresno State plays them all the time, I always see them play Nevada every year
Mhm.
in the past.
Yeah, I would and glad you mentioned Fresno State. I was initially like when I was, trying to get recruited by these Mountain West schools, Fresno State was a school I really wanted to go to when I was in junior college. I even went on a spring visit there. Um, and I ended up going to their spring game and stuff like that. And I was talking to the fans. I really wanted to go there, but they didn't take the chance on me. So, I had to take the long route, and Nevada was willing to give me an opportunity. And Fresno State, there we played there this year. Their environment is amazing. Everybody's barking at you, doing the dog wolf, and everybody's talking trash back and forth. I love that environment. So, um, going there and playing there was always a dream too, because I wanted to play for that school. But being able to play in that stadium and silence the crowd in the third quarter and score a touchdown, that was cool. But yeah,
Yeah, I guess it doesn't always meant to be like they say. Just like Josh Allen wanted to play for the Bulldogs too.
right.
It just didn't happen. I guess he had to go to Wyoming, and you had to go to Nevada. But from watching your tape, man, I like how you catch the ball off the backfield, man. You got those hands. You're tough to tackle. That's the interesting part about your tape.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I agree. I'm a versatile athlete at backfield. I'm my brother and me used to always catch in the backyard at my mom's house. We always used to catch, and my oldest brother would come down when they were in junior college before I ever got to high school, and he came down all the way from Victorville, California, and he always tell me when he come back, he'd be like, you got your ball you want to catch. You always want to catch. So, I think that just comes from all that repetition in the backyard, all that repetition through high school and junior college. Um, I became a really good catching running back because I initially in high school, all I did was run the ball. I never really caught the ball. We ran the veer, and I was in 3-point stands just running through people. I developed in a great pass catching running back, which is so great for the NFL. Um, Running back now is a hybrid position. You can't just run the ball. You got to be able to pass block. You got to be able to run and catch the ball. So I think one of my great skills.
Yeah, I think from looking at how your skill set would fit, I think it would fit well with the Niners and Rams, the way they run it in Seattle. Like they have a type of scheme where it would fit well in your skill set. So, I mean, there's plenty of teams that are going to look into you. Like you're like one of those sleepers. So, why should NFL teams draft you, man? You got to convince them and be like, man, you got to draft me because of this, or you got to like give me
Yeah,
a reason why they should draft you.
yeah. So NFL teams, when looking at all these prospects, you've got guys from big schools, you got guys from small schools, you got sleepers, you got high risers, and you got people who drop, right? And I'm one of those players. If you look at my journey, I started off no scholarship in high school, a 1,300-yard rusher, and a 14 touchdown. I had 14 touchdowns. Took my team to a section championship after losing the section championship the year before, and not even getting an opportunity to be a full-time running back until I was a senior. And when that opportunity was given to me, I earned it. Um, and then going to junior college, I didn't have an offer after being nominated for SAC B Player of the Year. All those accolades, no offer. Went to junior college, had to earn my way through COVID, not having no games our first year, having to figure life out as a young adult, just showing my perseverance on the field and as a man. I ended up being able to play 2 years at Butte College and also get my AA degree as well. Um, it's just very, very compelling, like my journey. I did a lot of work to get here. From then going to Morehead State, it's amazing. I went there. Morehead State's a non-scholarship FCS school. I went there with nothing in my pocket. Um, Earned everything I got from there. I learned that playbook in like the first 3 weeks, and that playbook was huge, especially with NFL teams. You got to be able to learn the playbook. That playbook we had at Morehead State, we were running a spread offense. We had all types of signals. We had we rarely huddled up, but I learned that thing in 3 weeks. And in spring ball, I showed my talent. while there were two backs ahead of me already, and they were established in that offense. I came in and I earned my role, and I executed everything I could on special teams as well. I was kick returning, punt returning, and I was running down on kickoff and punt, showing that versatility. And in junior college, I even had a stint where I had to long snap, which I'm very good at as well. Um, I had to do that because we had fell down some numbers on our punt team, so some guys got injured. Uh, from then, going to Morehead State and then going to Nevada, not having a scholarship, deciding to leave Morehead State where I had a solidified spot on the team, going to Nevada as a preferred walk-on, not knowing if I would make the team or not, or be given an opportunity or not. And I started as the last back on the depth chart, knowing I knew I was better than those other guys. Being the last guy on the depth chart, just showing up because I knew I believed in my talent and my ability. And I ended up that season, my first year, no scholarship. Took me 6 months to get a scholarship. And then I ended that season as the starting running back. Then I was able to have a great year this year and finish strong as a senior. So just hearing my long journey, as we just spoke about, um, just that seeing that I've worked so hard to get here. NFL teams should want a guy like that that's going to work every day, because most of these guys have not been through adversity yet. Everybody is, been playing all 4 years, got through it very quickly, and now they're getting ready for the draft. Most of them have not sat on the bench. Most of them have not been on the back end of a roster. So they're not prepared for that. But I have. And I've
And
worked.
you've dealt with it. You've dealt with adversity, and this is what makes you stand out from the rest of the running backs in this draft class, is because you dealt with adversity. You've dealt with competing for a roster spot. You have proven that you can do it at the next level.
Exactly. I've proven that I can, fight through things, not just run away from things. A lot of guys are running away from things in society today, in the college football world. A lot of guys are transferring, and there's nothing wrong with transferring, but a lot of guys are transferring, just off rip because they're not getting what they want. Um, and Nevada, I could have easily just said, "Oh, I'm going to transfer and leave this school," right? Because it's going to be hard for me to get an opportunity. But no, I stuck it out and I earned my role. And that's just what it is in NFL. Guys are going to be cut. Guys are going to be on practice squad. They're going to be on the back end of the roster for the first time in their lives. Um, I didn't have to do that route. I was, I had to work hard for this. So I think that's why NFL teams should, take a look at me. They know my film is great. I catch the ball, block well. I'm versatile. I can do special teams and all that stuff. So I think that's what makes me different than other guys.
Yeah, like there's not many who have dealt with adversity and had to go through the hard way. So going into your time, man, it wasn't a regret you look back at. You kind of like look at it more as like, you know what, it made you the better person that you are today as a athlete and as a human being, how to survive in the real world.
Right.
It had to be challenging, but you proved it otherwise. So I think that can prepare you to the next step. If you can do it at this level, then I'm pretty sure you can do it at the biggest level. So
Right. I agree.
So what's an area of weakness that you can improve at the next level?
An area of weakness I can improve on is something I even had in junior college, and I think I've gotten tremendously better at, which is being patient. And when I was in junior college, I first got there, I was so antsy running, the ball, and I was just sprinting through the hole, right? And I learned, you gotta let the block develop. You gotta let the double teams get to the second level. So I've learned, throughout this college journey, that you gotta be patient as a running back. So I've gotten a lot better at it, but there's always room for improvement. I think that is my biggest thing, as a player, just being patient, letting things develop, and then, hitting it when it's open.
Absolutely, man. Like some running backs gotta have patience with their offensive lineman, because if you just run too soon, they can just be like, you can be stopped from right there. But if you see that hole, just run it in.
Right.
But what scheme that you played at Nevada that can translate at the next level?
At Nevada, we ran more of a gun/pistol type of offense, where we were, running inside zone, outside zone from the gun. We also ran it from pistol, but we didn't necessarily get under center at Nevada. But we did a lot of things that NFL teams are adapting to, third down type, throwing the ball and stuff like that to the back. So I think that was kind of my, scheme wise. We ran the ball inside and out, but we didn't run much counter and stuff like that. But at my other schools, like not Morehead State, Butte College, for example, we ran a pro style offense. We were under center. We had a fullback. We ran the tight end sets with the fullback as well, which NFL teams like to do. And I excelled in that. And that's probably my favorite offense, if we're being honest. I like being under
Oh,
center.
you would fit really well with Kyle Shanahan's offense, man. I could just tell right there. I don't know, like, what teams have you met with, but I'm pretty sure there's teams like the Rams, the Niners, and the Seahawks, and maybe quite a few other teams in mind, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, I would definitely love that. I've only met with the Chiefs. I met with the Chiefs at the CGS All-Star game. And it like I said, how my journey has been. The reason I met with them is because I was running routes with the receivers. And when they were doing one-on-ones, after I had, cooked all the linebackers, I went over there and ran with the receivers and did some routes as well to show my versatility in that. He was like, "Oh, you're running routes with the receivers as well." So that's something that stood out. So me going the extra mile, that's just something I do, to get myself to where I need to be. But yeah, that's just what I do. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the way how Kansas City runs their offense too, because Andy Reid is kind of like in that similar offense, if I'm mistaken. Like they run something like that.
Right. Most definitely.
But I think if you were to play under Shanahan, you would probably be more effective. Like just because you can catch the ball off the backfield, just because you can block and do all kinds of stuff, that's what he looks for at those positions, and you seem to fit the mold.
Yeah. That's the truth. I agree. You look at CMC and how he plays in that offense. It's designed for him. He pass catching back that can run. He can do it all. So having another back that can do that just it makes the offense better, right? So because if CMC is the breather, or if he's hurting, you have a back that can do the role that he does for the offense. So then there's no drop off. So
Exactly. But so who do you model yourself after as a running back?
as a running back, I have a couple guys that I try to pick him from. My favorite running back is Saquon Barkley. I love the power that he exudes on the field. He look up to. I've looked up to him since he was at Penn State. Just the way he plays, big play he has. And then I look at guys like Marshall Faulk. His ability to be versatile as a running back, catching out the backfield, and just being that guy, right? And then I look at guys like Barry Sanders, the way he cuts in the backfield and makes moves in the hole, and just makes people miss. That's just what gets me about Barry Sanders. Um, and all those guys, except for Saquon, fits my physique. I'm 5'9", 207. Hefty legs. Barry Sanders had those big legs as well. Just I think those are the guys that really I look up to as a running back and who I try to pick from.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with either choice. I mean, I would think Marshall Faulk would probably fit your kind of mold. Like
Right.
when you look at CMC, also those are like the two kind of mold. They catch the ball at the backfield. They're not quite the big running backs. They're more like a typical slot receiver, but they're playing running back.
Right.
Like that's just what it seems like. But just playing at Nevada, man, what would it be like just to play with another Purdy on the team?
Man, that would be crazy. If I was so my friends that are not diehard Niners fans, their whole family are Niner fans. I used to, be over at their house like at watching the Niner games and rooting against the Niners because I just wanted them to lose because of them. But it would be amazing if I was to be able to play with, Brock, because I already played with Chuba, and me and Chuba are boys. And we talk a lot, man. And it would be amazing to be able to play with his older brother. It would just be so great because the hometown feeling of playing for the Niners would be crazy as well. Being around that area, I know people around there, and just the Bang Bang Niner gang, that would be crazy. But yeah.
Yeah, it'd be crazy to play from the other Purdy to the next.
Right. Very crazy. Very crazy.
But then you would play in a similar offense that you've been playing since the JUCO college and the other ones.
Yeah, most definitely. It'll be very similar to how we ran our offense. And I think I am adaptable as a player. I'm able to adapt. So I think, whatever they threw at me, I would pick it up very quickly, like I've done before.
Oh, absolutely. So, how do you prepare for your opponents when it comes to game day?
Okay, so it varies on the opponent. Um, for example, when we played Penn State first week, I had we had our papers already printed of their blitz percentages. They had a new defensive coordinator this year, so the coordinator came from Ohio State. So we were watching the Ohio State film and stuff of how he ran defense, the blitzes he brought, because the main thing I watch is the pressure, because pass protection is first. That's my first thing that I look at. Got to make sure I know where that blitz is coming from so that I can protect the quarterback. Because if I don't protect the quarterback, I cannot run the ball. I cannot catch the ball. Um, and things go bad when you don't protect the quarterback. So first, I look at the pass protection. I look at the percentages of blitzes that they run, some key points and some tellers that they might do. Like if the linebacker creeps up a little bit when they're about to blitz, and if they're offset, we call it AT&T. Like when you look at the bars on your phone and you got like different lines and stuff and how high it is. So when the linebacker is lower than the other linebacker, it's telling that he's going to probably bring a pressure. So stuff like that, I would do that first, and then I would get into big plays, explosives. Look at how many explosives that they give up, and what does the play look like when they give up an explosive. Um, who's missing assignments on the defense, like the linebackers per se, if he's filling the wrong gap, right? So I look at those guys who I'm going to go up against and see those explosives after I watch pass protection. And then I'll get into some scheme stuff, what we're going to do for the game and some things that I like in practice. Uh, and I'll go back and watch that film and see what will work best against their scheme. And I'll get back to my coaches, let them know what I see, because they always ask for input. They ask us for input and what we see and what plays we want to run. So that's kind of how I work for the film purposes. And if it's like an opponent, like a rival, I'm going all in and I'm looking up people's Instagrams and stuff and trying to find out more about them as a person, because then I can know how to attack my opponent on the field as a player.
Yeah, I guess you got to play that little game a little bit and see how you can attack them. So, yeah, it goes like that. But so what type of training or what type of dieting do you keep yourself in shape?
I honestly, other than because I'm in pro day training right now, so I'm doing things a little bit different than I usually do. But on the usual, I'm in the weight room almost every day. I do some recovery. I switch up my lifts. I mainly right now I'm squatting, doing explosive lifts and stuff like that. But when I'm on my own, I'm doing a lot of power and Olympic lifting. Just to keep the legs strong and get faster and faster, because you got to always try to get faster as a running back. So I'm doing that. And I do a lot of football work. I'm on the field almost every day when I'm on my own, and I'm doing hill sprints, agility, cones, all of the above. And I also was doing some catching as well when my coach had brought us out. We had some jugs at Nevada. We would do it 100 catches a day. So I was doing that as well, and just making sure that I'm staying sharp every day. I try to do it every day because I want to be better than the next player, and everybody's not working every day. So I try to do it every day.
You got to work hard to be the best, like they say.
Yes, sir.
Just like the greatest receiver to ever play, man, he had to outwork everybody else and put in, even though it sounds insane, like who runs hills?
Yeah. Who runs hills? But Jerry Rice.
But Jerry Rice, like, I don't think any other athlete likes to do that.
Right. You got to
But
be.
you got to go the extra mile.
Say it again.
You got to go the extra mile to be at the top of the game.
Facts. You got to go the extra mile. You got to set yourself apart from everybody else, because everybody else is doing the basics. You got to do more.
Yeah, for sure, man. So for those people who are future college prospects, why should they go to Nevada, man? Like, you got to convince me or convince other people to go over here, man.
Right. So for prospects that, looking at the rich history of Nevada, just like when I went to Butte College had some legendary teams that had 2 national championships for the JUCO level. But when you look at Nevada, right, you got a rich history of, upsets. Like it's a crazy thing that they were able to upset that Boise State team.
Ooh, yeah. Colin Kaepernick with the play and then other stuff. I mean, dude, it was like the craziest because I think Boise State was like the top #1 seed, if I'm mistaken.
Yeah, Boise State in the national championship, they didn't lose that, right? Being able to, that history of the rivalries that we have, with UNLV, and knowing like if you're a player that is being overlooked, Nevada is the place for you. I was overlooked. I didn't even Nevada overlooked me, right? So Nevada's the place for guys like that. Virgil Green, our tight ends coach, he's a Hall of Famer at the university as well, and he also won a Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos. He was even passed up by Fresno State. He's from the Central Valley, right? Nevada is for guys who've been passed up, guys who get overlooked, and then they become a star at the University of Nevada. So for guys like that, that are being, they're 3-star recruits, or they're guys that are being, not as pushed as much as a recruit, that is where you want to be at. You want to make a legendary school out of that type of school.
That's
right?
That's what it seems like going to Nevada, because I've seen a story of Colin Kaepernick. He wanted to go to Fresno State, and he heard that they didn't even seem interested in him.
Exactly, they were not interested. Nevada is for guys like that.
Overlook guys, prove something, and you'll get something like that. Like Romeo Dubes is a good one, also.
Yeah, Romeo Doubs as well. He's an elite receiver for the Packers right now.
Yeah. And he's entering free agency too, but he's very underrated when healthy, like really good.
Exactly. So like essentially we even have this term called FTNB, for the Nevada Brotherhood. And that's a statement we I can't say the other words that we put in there, but you can take the end.
I get it, man.
It's about the non-believers, right? We pride ourselves on that. People who don't believe in us, even people in our own city, right? So I think that's what like guys like that, the guys like me, Nevada is the place where you want to be because you get to prove people wrong, and that's the best thing to do.
And it's good to be the underdog too, so it's cool.
Yes.
If it had to come down to me not getting much offers, I probably would prefer to go to Nevada, because going to Reno, it looks like a nice atmosphere. I've been there like different occasions. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, most definitely. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, especially in the winter. You get the mountains and all the good season over there. But it's been like so long, so I remember going down there. It's fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
But outside of football, who are you as a person?
Me as a person outside of football, I'm a father first. I have 2 children, and they are my world. I take care of them and make sure that I'm being a proper example for them. I have a young brother who I wouldn't say I raised him, but I was raised up with him. I took care of him as I was in middle school, and he was a little kid, and I trained him. I trained him to play ball and stuff like that, and we did a lot of things together. And I'm a family first person, and I'm a believer in God. I believe in God. I believe in the higher power, and I believe that loving people is the best thing you can do in this world. You gotta love each other, man. There's a lot of hate out there in this world.
Yes.
We all gotta love each other. That's the main thing. And I think just being forgiving to all people. Like, you gotta be forgiving. I think a lot of us have like a sense of being rude to one another. Like, we gotta be forgiving. There's some things that people do bad things to each other, but we always gotta forgive each other.
Gotta move forward and hope for the best. I mean,
so I would say like those are my characteristics as a person, as well as outside of just my characteristics. I love to lift weights. I love to train my body, get stronger. I love being positive, right? I do not like being negative. I love being positive.
Keeping that positive energy is what goes a long ways. Sometimes that negative energy could be feel for some guys, because it proves more. Like when they overlook you, you want to prove them wrong,
Right. Most definitely.
You want to lit that fire.
Yeah, that fire. Some guys do thrive off of that. Sometimes I do thrive off of that, but I love being positive at the most, because positivity just makes you feel good. It just makes, you got to be real sometimes, but positive.
Oh, absolutely, man. But man, definitely appreciate your time, bro. I know it's worth the process, the journey, the what you went through, bro. That's got to be like another underdog story, man. You had to go through the hard way. So
yes, sir.
And the fact that if you make it to the lead and have a pretty damn good career, bro, I'm definitely going to root for you, bro, because I've seen guys who've been in this position where they had to be going through, they had to work their way up there, man. That's going to be a good mountain to climb for you, man.
Right. And I have one more thing, because I know you're a Niners fan. Make the Niners front office and GM, and if you pick me up in any shape or way, you're going to have the best opportunity to have a running back that can really do it all. Like, I'm going to be the one that can do it all. I'm not going to pout like other guys. I'm not going to be whining like other guys. But you're going to essentially have another Jerry Rice situation on your hands, because I'm the one that puts in the work, and I always rise to the top. So,
yeah, I
in
love that
whatever,
attitude, bro. Love that attitude. And you seem to fit the system. So you would be somebody that Kyle wouldn't have to like coach too much on, because you're probably a quick learner and you seem to outwork some people, even though people would say, oh, you're below the depth chart. Nope, you just got to compete and prove it.
Exactly. And that's the type of player I am. That's what I strive to be. So,
yeah, you might go into training, you might go into the off season or training camp in the bottom of the depth chart, but you're gonna probably rise to the occasion and probably push your stuff for that role, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's what I like about it, man. I like that. You know, there was somebody like Steve Young who had to be the 8th string quarterback.
Wow.
Coming out of BYU, but his great great grandfather's college is named after that. Like, how the hell do you become an 8th stringer?
Right, right.
Those are the kind of stories that nobody never knows about, man. It's like, yeah, that's got to be legendary, bro. So I'm definitely rooting for you, bro. Hopefully you become a very good, successful story, because that's something that most young generation needs to be inspired by. Do things the hard way.
Right, right.
Yeah, bro. And for everybody else, check out Caleb Ramseur, man. Running back Nevada, bro. This guy does it all. This guy will do the dirty work, man. He fits on any scheme that you all want to run. He will outwork all the running backs. But hey, man, for everybody else, thank you guys for tuning in.